What's going on, guys? It's Mike for Sim Racing 604. Welcome back to the showroom here in Assetto Corsa. And we are getting our first look here at the Race Sim Studio RSS2 mod, obviously for Assetto Corsa. So this is based primarily on the Formula 2 car, the current spec Formula 2 car. They changed things from 2017 to 2018 and added the halo amongst other features. So before we actually get into what this car is all about, I'll just tell you a bit about Race Sim Studio. For those not aware, Race Sim Studio has been a big feature on this channel for a very long time. In my opinion, they make mods as good as anybody in the industry. Their mods are absolutely incredibly detailed. And yeah, so I'm always excited when I see an email that they've released a new either update or a whole new car. And this is just such an occasion. So today I got the notification that the RSS2 2018 had come out. So I knew I had to jump in this as soon as possible. So what are we looking at here? The Formula 2 car, it's governed by FIA, hence the regulations that make it look a lot like an F1 car. Overall, this thing only weighs 750 kilograms, and the engine previous years or recent years had run a V8 engine, and this is actually a turbocharged V6, much like its bigger, stronger brother, the F1 car. So we still see, even though it doesn't have a hybrid system on board, we do still see tremendous performance out of this thing. We see about 620 horsepower at close to 9,000 RPMs with that single turbo V6, 3.4 liter, and 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds and 0 to 200 kilometers an hour in about 6.5 seconds. So this thing is fast, deceptively fast. You kind of get the sensation when you're driving this that it's a notch slower than an F1 car, and it is, but before you know it, you're up near the 300 kilometer an hour mark on some straightaways. So it really does have some get up and go once you settle into it and really start to push it. So again, they've added the halo for 2017. You can see they've done a nice job. Race Sim Studios has with this car modeling that halo there. You can see if we spin around here, you can see some of the connections to the chassis there as we zoom in. Absolutely fantastic job, as always, by Race Sim Studios in modeling things. And so it just has the 3.4 liter V6 engine. It doesn't have the full ERS system like its bigger, older brother, but what it does have is DRS. We'll swing around back here and take a look at that. So a hydraulically controlled DRS. So when you enter the DRS zones, the same as the F1 car, you can open that wing, reduce your downforce, and get an extra little burst of speed on the straightaways. All this is mated to a 6-speed paddle shift gearbox, and that pretty much is a good overall summary of the car. If you're wondering about the speed of it compared to the F1 car, at the pro level it's about 15% slower. So for example, F1 pace at Silverstone is minute 25. Qualifying pace for this car at Silverstone is about a minute 40. By comparison, you can add another 15 seconds or so to this car's time to get to the GT3 level. So it splits the GT3 and F1 performance nicely. It's somewhere in that range, about 15% slower than the F1 car, 15% faster than a GT3 car. Let's quickly jump into the cockpit here, and we will eventually get out there on track and have a look. But you can see that nicely modeled gearbox, or excuse me, nicely modeled steering wheel there with the onboard display, the Race Sim Studio logo down there, and very sort of Spartan and basic cockpit, but all you need to really drive this thing around the track. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to jump into VR. It's been a while since we've done VR, so we're going to take this beautiful RSS2 out to the Nurburgring GP and turn some laps. So once again, this is the RSS2 from Race Sim Studio, available from racesimstudio.com. For $4 US and €4, you will also get the 2017 version of the RSS2. to play around with. It does without the halo, and it has the V8 engine in it, the naturally aspirated V8 engine. So that's a very, very good car. You'll have to go back quite a ways on my channel to find the review of that car, but you can also find a lot of other great reviews. But wonderful little car here, nicely done to Race Sim Studio. Let's get out on the track and see what we can do. Alright guys, so as promised, here we are in the pits at the Nurburgring GP on board the Race Sim Studios RSS 2. We'll just turn a couple laps here, 2, maybe 3. Let's just kind of get a feel for the car. I did do some break-in laps. I can tell you this thing can be a handful. But overall, guys, like I was mentioning in the shop there, it's kind of nice to have that brake. I'm just, by the way, just warming up tires here, not pushing too hard. It's kind of nice to have that intermediate performance level. Not quite as insane as an F1 car, but a little bit more unpredictable and wild than a GT3 car. You can hear that turbo whistle there. Whoa! A little bit wide. It does have DRS, so I'll start to open that up on the next lap. Should be approaching 300 kilometers an hour on the front straight. DRS indicator light is just that left light, or excuse me, that yellow light in the top left of the wheel there. And braking far too early there, still getting used to the car. And yeah, this engine is really to be feared. Once that turbo gets spooled up, this thing could really churn out the horsepower. See how fast it goes from 150 to 250 kilometers an hour there. And yeah, it's a real pleasure to drive. I'd like to spend some more time with this, get it a little more dialed in, work on a setup. But even right out of the box, it feels great. Get DRS opened up here. So I can feel that back end getting a little bit squirrely there. That rear flap open. It's a bit of a challenge. Sounds really good. They've done a nice job with that turbo. It's not totally over exaggerated, but very pronounced at the same time. And you saw me have to keep the wheel straight there. I was a bit afraid to turn in too much under braking. Rear end of the car does feel a bit lively for my liking. You could see me sliding around a bit even there. Overshot the corner slightly. Just ran about 0.4 seconds faster there. We'll see if we can improve on that slightly. No, we cannot. A little bit of drift in there. That's what I mean about that back end coming loose under braking. As the sun starts to tip down on the horizon there. Trying a bit of trail braking there. Hopefully we can make up some of that 1 second we lost by power sliding through turn 1. Not generally recommended in an open wheel car. And I'm having a terrible lap. Alright, we can't end on this, guys. I will do one more lap. Being a bit more mindful of my position on the track. Lost a bit of the rear end grip there. Felt a bit better that time. It's getting really hard to see with that sun dipping down, so I think I'm gonna have to call it here. Short shifting there intentionally. Alright, that's gonna do it, guys. So not exactly blazing times, but good to get to know this RSS2. Nice little car. Well done, Race Sim Studio. I think this is a good car for those looking for something, like I said, in between F1 and GT3. if you're sort of thinking to yourself, well, you know, I've raced enough GT3 for one lifetime, but F1 is too much to handle, this could be the car for you. I think it's fantastically well done overall, and I think Race Sim Studio once again has nailed it. So that's going to do it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.